Hi and welcome. We are with the lovely Lucy here, and she is going to be answering our 9 questions on spiritual awakening. So, welcome, Lucy.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well tonight.
Good stuff. Okay, so let's get straight into it. When was your first spiritual experience?
It's a really good question. I was thinking about this because I'm sure if I delve deeper, it would be far earlier in my life. But the one that really stuck out to me was when I was around 25, about 9 years ago, and I was in Bali and I was having a healing. And I'd never before felt like the chi energy or anything remotely like that. And this guy gave me a healing, which basically allowed my mind and consciousness to expand to such a degree to know that there's undoubtedly something way beyond normal reality, and it was life changing. So that was like one time where I just couldn't argue with anything else. That I was just like, wow, this is something else.
Great. Okay. So, what was your most profound spiritual experience?
Well, steadily on from then, I began to kind of delve deeper into my spirituality, and it's taken like 10 years, but through the use of plant medicine, through the use of meditation, I then went to do a Vipassana meditation in Thailand last year, and then I experienced a Kundalini awakening of sorts. And so since then, it's been a year on or so since, and I experienced very crazy things, very extremely intense and physical ascension symptoms. One most notably I think it was a full moon in July, and I was trying to get to sleep, and there was no way. I stayed up all night, and I basically felt like all of my chakras were aligned, and I was being pulled up from the bed. And when you're trying to just get to sleep and you haven't actually activated anything, or in part of any ceremonial action or anything with anybody else, it's kind of disconcerting sometimes and a bit scary, which is your follow-on question, because you're not, sometimes it just strikes you and you're not particularly prepared for it, but it is just source working on you. And obviously I check in with my spirit guides and I ask them to keep guiding me through these incredible experiences, but they are nothing short of miraculous and mystical, and they happen not quite regularly. So it's great to be, that's why it's so important to have a community and other people that you can talk to that have similar experiences, because otherwise it is quite an isolating experience.
Yeah, good point. Okay, you've obviously touched on this, whether it was uncomfortable in some way. Was that the only way it was uncomfortable? Have you experienced things not nice, or how's it been?
Well, sometimes because of the intensity of these experiences, and when you are around other people that you can't necessarily communicate them with without sounding completely crazy. It depends. It's like, if you're in a work situation where you're not, surrounded by other spiritual people, or if your family's not particularly spiritual, I think that for me has been the hardest thing to navigate, is by trying to assimilate my experiences and not I like to share, and I'm a very open person, so I don't like to hold back on things that I'm going through, but then I've had to, just by default, because it's not something you can share with everyone. So it has been difficult in those regards for me, not so much in a physical sense, because I know that when I can tune into it in my meditation practice, and then I receive beautiful feelings, and it's extremely euphoric and it's very pleasurable. But at the same time, the fact, because it is it's a very strange process to be going through, because not many people know about it, and it's why it's good to talk to other people and good to share things and make it a bit more normal.
Okay, so what are the benefits you've had from your spiritual experiences?
Well, I guess, at the beginning of your spiritual journey, you know that there's something greater than yourself, and you maybe start to change your practices in your day-to-day life by all sorts of ways, of your yoga, eating healthier, meditation. And really, it's kind of, for a long time, it could be considered a one-way street, and you're putting a lot of effort in for the hope and faith that you might receive something back. But through this spiritual journey that I've been on, like now it's a complete two-way conversation, and I am receiving so much. Faith doesn't really come into it now because I have, well, obviously it does, but like it's such a inner knowing of reciprocity from my experiences that I have utmost respect and love for all my practices, because it's giving back to me tenfold now, and like Source is communicating with me on a day-to-day activity. So it's just been
on a day-to-day basis.
So it's just been such a beautiful confirmation of sorts, just to know that all the hard work that I did put in at the beginning is now coming back. And I think that's just indicative to most things that you do in life as well.
Good, yeah, absolutely. So have you had a special spiritual teacher or teachers?
No, not particularly, but I would definitely be open to them. I think that anyone that's really come into my vortex is in their own way a spiritual teacher, whether it be an ex-boyfriend or a boss that you didn't like, or anyone that has come into your life. It kind of gives you reason to learn and grow. I feel that they're just as much spiritual teachers, just as a guru that would be of a spiritual sense too. So I really view life in that respect, and know that anyone that is in my life is a spiritual teacher in their own way.
Superb. Okay, so what spiritual advice would you give to somebody who's just starting out on their journey?
I would just say, just go with the flow, and whatever your intuition is guiding you to go towards, and listen to it, because your intuition is like a muscle, and the more that you do start listening to it and flexing it, the stronger it gets. So I would really encourage anyone that has got that niggling little voice in their mind, but has always been too scared to listen to it, for whatever it's trying to urge you to do, whether it's to leave your job or go traveling or take up a hobby, it's there for a reason. And I would really encourage people just to really start tuning into that, because that's your guiding star and it's there for a reason.
Great. Okay. So what sort of advice would you give to somebody who's further along on their spiritual journey?
Much of the same thing, really. I would just keep going deeper and deeper with that practice. And I just feel like, by incorporating meditation and journaling into those, you're allowing your intuition or your higher self to communicate with you further. And the more that you are delving into these practices, the stronger and clearer the messages become. So it's just a matter of being really consistent with your practices and understanding that even each day, it may not seem like you're getting ahead, but in reality you are. And it's such a nice practice to review, especially with journaling, to see how far you've come maybe a year or two later, and to see that in your own writing. It's such a gift.
Great. Okay, is there a key lesson that stood out for you?
I would say, sorry to be very repetitive, but my key lesson is just to keep, my life's just really changed and turned around in the last 3 years from listening to my intuition. And even though I can't see the wood from the trees right now, I know that because I've listened to my intuition, I will be rewarded for it. So my key advice, or what I'm doing with my life, is listen to whatever lights you up, whatever's your passion, whatever makes you feel like time stands still, and whatever you really crave to do. If time or money was no object, do that, because that will light you up, and that will ultimately be the thing in your life that will help you grow and serve others and become your highest self.
Superb. Okay. And lastly, number 9, what is your favorite spiritual practice, and how has it contributed to your spiritual awakening?
Meditation. I absolutely love this practice. You can do it anywhere in the world, and even just waiting for a bus, or before you go to bed, obviously, and before you wake up. Like, anytime that I have got a spare 10 minutes, I've really that's another thing that's like a muscle too. It's really difficult to get your meditation practice down. And for me, I was such a little monkey mind that I couldn't sit still for 5 minutes was torture when I first started, but now I can like comfortably, do 50 minutes and longer sometimes. And so it really is like going to the gym. Like it's something that you really have to apply and do every day. But the rewards from it are just unbelievable. And I would really encourage anybody that's, still, just dealing with, like, I want to do meditation, but I don't have the time, or, all these kind of like excuses that we make up. But it really is like the biggest gift that you can give to yourself. So that would be my top pick.
Superb. Great stuff. Well, thank you very much. A little bit over our 9 minutes, but that's okay. Thank you so much, Lucie. Take care and have a wonderful evening. In fact, we'll be speaking to you in less than